Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Listen, I don't know what the temperature is in your part of the world, but here in Colorado, here in Denver, it's been hot lately. It's so nice. It's been, this weekend, it's been in the 90s consistently. I think we set a 100-degree temperature record yesterday. And it's hotter than Hawaii here right now. It's hotter than Florida. It's just hot. I mean, this is like Texas type of heat. It is very, very warm. And Colorado does routinely get into the hundreds. People may not realize that if you're not from here. So we got both extremes, freezing cold and absolute scorching heat. But that means it's summertime. Thank God. I'm so happy for summer. And summertime means we're spending more time outside. We're hiking, we're biking, we're fishing, we're swimming, we're vacationing, we're doing all cool things. We're going to the beach. And when we do those things, if you are a techie, as I want to be techie maybe, you realize that, wow, that means I'm not going to be near my audio setup as much. I'm not going to be near my record player. I'm not going to be near my stereo. Portable audio, right? Portable audio. Yes, your phone can do so very much, but we're about physical devices, physical media here. So today on Record-ology, there's a wind up for you. There was a long-winded intro. We are going to be looking at portable audio, new portable audio for summer, for this summer. And we're going to be taking a look at two devices from Tyler Audio, who we've worked with in the past. It's been a while. It's been quite a while, but they've got two new products to market, and we're going to review them on today's show. Anyway, you are not going to want to miss this.
This is Record-ology.
So the question will be, as we review these products, do they do what they're supposed to do well? And would we really use these on the road? Will we really grab these as we're heading out the door for our adventures? We have two things to review. We're going to start with the smaller one and then finish with the larger one. Again, both from Tyler Audio. They've done some cool stuff in the past, so I'm excited to see what they've got for us to take a look at. This says it's a portable AM/FM aux speaker. Now, what strikes me as odd right off the bat is it's a speaker. That's the definitive word, leading word, but it's a speaker Bluetooth. I don't see anything Bluetooth on it. AM/FM, so it's a radio. Aux, so that's apparently how we connect speaker. So it's kind of interesting that it's not Bluetooth, but yet it's a speaker versus just being a radio that has an aux input. Just kind of an interesting way to do it. Just an interesting way to do it. I do love the branding. I think this may be a new color scheme for them, but this says it is a full band AM/FM radio, aux input for external device playback. We'll test all of this, of course. AC or battery operated, digital time display. And then just kind of the same thing on that and repeat there. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what we got. Okay. Oh, yeah. So it's got this bubble wrap here. I like electronics that come in cardboard boxes. That reminds me of the way they were when I was a kid. Whereas, from like the maybe the late 90s onward, everything was in a, what do they call those things? A bubble package, like the plastic that could like cut you off, literally, like you could really hurt yourself if you weren't careful. So we do have the instruction sheet and just simple bubble wrap covering the device. Looks like this piece of tape was perhaps connected somewhere else. Okay, there we go. Handsome little device. Okay, sort of a matte finish plastic there. And we've got like a metal grill. I like that. At least it feels metal. The display, AM/FM switch, time set, hour, minute display. A lot of controls just for the time, which is kind of interesting. A power light, the logo. Do you remember when there was like super cheap stuff, toys and even some electronics back in the day, and they would have a handle, but it would be like hollowed out on the back? Man, that was annoying. That just felt like you were getting shafted, didn't it? This has a nice solid handle all the way around. Okay, so on the side here, we've got a tuning dial and a volume knob. I like that volume knob instead of a button clicking up and down. I always prefer the analog volume control. That's also the power switch, apparently. Flipping around back, we've got the antenna. and a very large battery compartment. Looks like it runs on C-cell batteries or AC. I always prefer, okay, it's permanently attached in there. That's cool. I always prefer AC if I'm, near AC. But again, this is about portable audio. So if you were to take it outside with you somewhere, you'd be running off batteries. It's cool that there's a place to keep the power cord even when you're in battery mode. So it looks like just 3 C-cell batteries will do the trick, 1.5 volts each. And on this side, the line input, so that's the aux in, and a headphone jack. Pretty simple stuff. So let me go ahead and plug it in, and we'll give it a test. Okay, let's start with the radio, I guess. We'll just go ahead and flip it on here. Definitely a digital tuner. You can hear that clipping. Let's put the antenna up. Reception is mediocre. It's okay.
Highway or better, like road with class fuel economy. Shop.
I actually like digital tuners because either you got the station or you don't. There's not like a trailing analog interference. I mean, you're locked. Once you get a station, it's in there. Now, it's kind of hard to land on it compared to an analog tuner, but
34 highway to 30 city 37
it's
highway.
how clear that is.
2022 Nissan Rogue, 2022 EPA highway fuel economy.
Once you're on it, you're on it. Okay, let's go up this way. Interesting. So the sound is very punchy, very bright. There's not a lot of bass. It's not very full. It sounds like a small speaker, but if you're like in the garage, you're on the beach, you're just chilling, portable audio system, this would be adequate, I think, for a couple of people. I think that it would, do the trick for, it's a small speaker. It sounds kind of like a small speaker. It's not going to impress you with its sound quality, at least based on what I've heard so far. Let's check out AM.
Wallet, the money.
It's very loud. I mean, it's from a volume standpoint, there's no issue. It's filling up. I mean, I've got the volume on maybe 10, 20%, and it's, punchy, bright, loud. And AM always sounds like AM. So yeah, I mean, it's a very functional radio. Once I got the aerial up, the reception was good-ish. It was getting plenty of stations. Let's go ahead and connect the external. I do want to play the display here, so you can toggle between the time, which you could obviously set if you wanted to, and the station that you're on. I'm going to go ahead and power it off. So yeah, let me go ahead and connect via the line input some external audio, and we'll test that as well. Okay, I've switched to the front speaker, the front microphone, so you can kind of hear it a little bit better for yourself. I'm going to use a CD player for an input device, so it seemed appropriate to use the Tyler CD player. It's a great little budget CD player. Very basic, gets the job done. I use it quite often, actually, when I just want a quick, basic CD player on the go. So I've got it, headphone output, headphones set to about 80% to approximate line level, and then that's going into the line input of the Tyler speaker. And for audio material, I'm just going to be using a Jock Jam CD because that seems summery, something that I had in the 90s. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what this sounds like on this little speaker here. And forgive me for the air conditioner coming on. It's just summertime. It's going to happen. So here we go.
Welcome to the big show. It could go all the way.
Skip through these.
Ow.
That's a little punch. That's a little more bass than I thought. CD definitely sounds fuller than the FM radio, which is interesting to me. Usually the compression that they use for FM analog transmissions are ideal for, full range speakers that are limited in size, because it takes the highs, it takes the lows, and it compresses that dynamic range down so that you can represent it on a smaller speaker. So usually FM radio, analog FM radio, sounds fantastic, more so than even other inputs that a device may have. So it's kind of interesting. In this case, though, the CD player sounds better to my ears.
This is how we do it.
The lacking audio aspect would be the bass. It's not a very bassy speaker. That being said, it's got decent mid-range, a good high end, and it's listenable. This is, again, something I would grab for the garage. However, I've got a couple of issues, and I'll give you my final thoughts. By the way, this is the TPR01BK from Tyler Audio. So here's what I love about it. I love the ergonomic handle. I like the design. I think the fit and finish is good. It's got the seam, the molded seam right on the top there. That's probably my least favorite part of the design aesthetic. But even still, I like the size. I like the portability that it has. I like the fact that it has a place to store the actual cord in the back. There's a little notch there, so when the battery compartment's closed. I like the fact you can carry the power cord. I can't stand it when you've got a portable device that has this power cord, but then you have to keep it home. You have to keep it somewhere else. So this is really nice that they've done this. It doesn't take much power to run, which is a good thing. From a feature standpoint, I think it's fine, except for the big glaring thing. It should have Bluetooth. This should have Bluetooth. This is a $25 speaker. And for $25, this should absolutely have Bluetooth. To have to use a line input cable, and yes, you can do it from your phone. If you're using an iPhone, you have to use a dongle, you have to use an adapter. But even still, to have to carry around an aux cable, this is very 2010, in my opinion, from that standpoint. That's the biggest issue. So I think for $25, they should give you Bluetooth, absolutely. Because of that, I would say this is a bit overpriced. I think that without Bluetooth, this should be more like a not 10. This should be like a $15 kind of device. I think that it is overpriced without the Bluetooth. That being said, for what it is, I would use this. I may use this. We'll have to see. Again, I keep thinking garage. I keep thinking that this would be like sweeping up the garage, working out there, out the workbench, something like that. This would be a good companion, especially if you just wanted the radio. I definitely would call this a radio with an aux in more than a speaker with AM, FM, if you know what I mean. It's a radio. It's a mono radio, but it's a cool design. And I think it is cool. But those are my thoughts on this guy. Now let's look at the next device. I want to give a little bit of sense of scale. So this is a device we just looked at. And in comparison, this is the next device. So this is a considerably larger product. I'm going to set this to the side, and we are going to progress with this, the Tyler Portable CD Cassette Boombox. So again, I like the design of the packaging, the advertising. This is a retail box. It's designed to sell you on the device. If you see it on the shelf, that's why they've invested in a box that has high gloss photography, features, etc., etc. Speaking of features, this is going to have a CD player, full function it says, cassette player with record function, that's cool, aux input for external device, full band analog AM FM radio. Let's see if that's really AM or if that's really analog or if it's a digital tuner, and then AC or battery operated. So yeah, from the initial looks, it looks cool. I like the design from what I can see. Let's go ahead and open up this box. All right, yeah, old-fashioned packaging, styrofoam. Before you start guide. Let's see, we've got our power cord here. This makes me think that unlike the previous device, we may have to not be able to store that perhaps in the battery compartment. And yeah, styrofoam blocks here. Let's get this out of here. Tyler has done some really cool little tiny boom boxes in the past. And that's a good thing. We were actually able to donate some Tyler boomboxes to a children's charity a couple of Christmases ago, and that meant a lot to them. So we were glad to do that kind of stuff. Absolutely. All right, the plastic wrap. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. That's cool. That's a nice design. You know, a lot of times the small little boom boxes kind of get designed and look kind of like a kid's thing, whereas this doesn't. This strikes me as, you know, an adult device, which I like that because I'm an adult. Let's take a closer look. You probably know that automobiles are designed with a face so that the headlights, the hood, the scoop, the diffuser, the grill gives it a smile or a menacing look. It's part of, the fit and finish. This has a nice scowl to it. It kind of looks, these look like eyebrows, like it's kind of giving you a kind of a smile there, but a kind of nasty look in a good way, if you know what I mean. Okay, enough of that. So this is cool. It's, again, a matte finish plastic. Both of these devices are ABS. The handle, it's got a hollow back handle. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Shame on you. I don't like hollow back handles. We're trying to cheap out of, having more plastic than we need to. It clicks in though nicely. I like how it kind of clicks in and stows out of the way. We've got our CD drawer or CD lid there. We'll get to that in a minute. Nice metal grills that are contoured to match the shape. Our cassette mechanism, mechanical buttons, plastic. That's why I was going like this. See if they're rubber or not. For some reason, pause was down. Interesting, down here on the front, on the left here, we got headphone. I'm assuming that means headphone jack. And on the right, aux in. Strange place to put it. And look at that. I can already tell you this is a Tanischen type of clone cassette mechanism. Look at that spring. See that spring kind of in the upper left-hand corner with that curl in it? That is a telltale sign of a Tanischen type of mechanism. Again, not terribly bad necessarily. Maybe it's a stereo one. They're not bad. They just, compared to the old Panasonic and Sony JVC mechanisms, they weren't as good, but they're not bad. The biggest thing is it stereo or is it mono? We're going to figure that out. Going around to this side of the unit, you will see nothing. I would expect to see an aux input headphone jack here, if not on the back. So there's our AC power, and I'm assuming the battery compartment will be on the bottom. This is model number TAU106-BK. Nothing there. It does have good weight to it. Both of these devices do not feel cheap. They do not feel cheap at all. They feel like they're the appropriate weight, which is good. Looking on the bottom, we've got a pretty massive battery compartment. Wow. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8 C-cell batteries and no place to store the cable. I don't like that. I wish that they gave you a place to store the cable like they did on the other device. Wow. With that many batteries, this thing would be quite heavy. What a battery door there. Wow. And then another vent down there for, looks like the power transformer, the power supply right there. Interesting. Rubberized, foam feet, not rubber. So foam feet, etc., etc. All right, let's go ahead and fire it up. Actually, before we turn it on, let's go ahead and I want to check the CD compartment and I want to check the actual tape head as well. So we've got this little protective cardboard piece. It does use sort of the center spindle with a snap down, just like a portable personal CD player with the dampened mechanism on the left. Little cutouts there so you can grab assumedly 3-inch discs and the 5-inch discs as well. Yeah, everything looks as expected. Nice closure on this. You kind of like tap it and it goes all by itself down. That's nice. Good damping on that. I'm surprised not to see a big either Tyler logo here or a compact disc logo there. They've instead chosen to put the Tyler logo there. I don't see a CD logo anywhere on it. All right, let's look at the cassette mechanism. That's going to be one of the first things we want to learn about this tape player is it stereo or is it mono? Because we do have stereo speakers. Let's make use of stereo speakers, right? Okay, looking through the foggy front door, I'm happy to report that is a stereo head, my friends. That's excellent. Actually, it looks like a good head. So a stereo head, that's good. There's a pinch roller. There's the capstan, etc., etc. Yeah, this is good. I'm glad they went with the stereo mechanism. Okay, let's give it a listen. Is there an antenna on this thing? I don't think there's an antenna. That's weird. I was reaching back here for an antenna. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you about the handle. The handle is open back. So obviously they save plastic by doing this. It just feels like you've been shorted. I don't like that. Put a full piece, at least put a smooth piece of plastic on the back. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all. But again, it's par for the course with so many electronics. Even big name electronics have been doing that little trick for years. Okay, so I wonder what this is going to sound like with no antenna. So let's go ahead and I'm going to focus the camera down here on the display and we'll give it a listen. I've also switched to the front microphone. So big power button over here. And volume are buttons instead of a knob. I would have preferred a knob. Okay, so I guess we'll skip for stations because there's no tuning dial. Okay, so we're scanning for stations. This is definitely, I would call this a digital tuner because there's not even an analog control. So we're gonna skip through this.
And it's not as if, you know, we're gonna not...
Skip again. Stereo indicator on there, that's cool.
Did issue an apology for using the phrase $90 one-time gift. We'll put 2 friends.
Shall I see you in bed? And also my guy David celebrating my
Let me put
birthday.
this to AM. Okay. Oh, it says band right next to it. Okay, so there we go. Okay. At least we can get there. So I'm gonna try and skip through some AM here. The reception is about like the other one. It's a bummer it doesn't have an aerial. It needs that. It would definitely benefit from that. The AM antenna will just be a ferrite rod internal, but that's typical.
Oh, that was just my mindset.
So, yeah, I mean, it's AM radio, whatever. So, I like from a design aesthetic, I think that this interface is cool. I like how everything's centrally located. I definitely think it was a mistake not to include an analog tuning dial, even if it's a digital tuner, which I'm not sure. It may be an analog tuner, but it's definitely a digital control. And also an analog volume control, too. That would have been good. And then Bluetooth. It has to have Bluetooth. It doesn't have Bluetooth. This, by the way, is $40, $39.95. You know, it should have Bluetooth. It's not a terribly priced Boombox. There's a lot of similar devices on Amazon for like $60, $70 that are very similar to this. So it's cool that they included tape and CD. By the way, let's go ahead and test tape and CD. Let's start with tape. By the way, this is a brand new tape, new old stock that is. I just took the shrink wrap off. We're going to be listening to the world's greatest bluegrass bands. So let's go here. Let's put it back to tap mode. And put our inverted cassette in. And that's kind of... doesn't click in super hard. And you have to push on the left. That's where the latch is. Let's go ahead and fast forward. And give it some time to get into the actual music. Again, I'm on the front-facing echoey microphones. Sorry about that, but I want you to be able to hear the sound quality as I'm listening to it. Okay, here we go. Look at the play button. It's backwards. That's weird. The arrow is pointing to the left. Very strange. Weird. Listen to that. Did you hear that interference? That's weird. Like when I'm clicking up and down on the volume, it's like almost like it sounds like it's shorting out, having some kind of interference. It sounds okay. I mean, it's definitely lower fidelity than what we're getting on the radio. Quiet. It's a quieter tape player too. That's max volume. So yeah, yeah, it maxes out at 30 on the volume, and it needs to get that loud in order to be kind of loud enough to use in a party mode, party atmosphere.
I've always been free. I don't love nobody. Nobody loves me.
Okay, I mean, it works. So this said it was a recorder too. Yeah, it does have the record button there. And let's go ahead and remove our tape. And let's put the CD in. We're going to listen to some Floyd Kramer playing Town and Country Favorites. I know that's exactly what you wanted to hear. We'll switch it off tap mode, go to C. We're not even going to test the aux mode, but it's going into CD mode. And it looks like it's going to load up the CD automatically. So let's see how loud it is. Yep, autoplay. Again, that's max volume. It's quiet. Interesting. Skipping forward. That sounds fine. Sounds okay. I mean, it's not the worst sounding audio I've ever heard. It's not the best. Okay, back on the vocal mic now. So I tested the rewind mechanism, average speed, not super fast, not too slow. But it's interesting, there's no full auto stop. So when you're rewinding or fast forwarding, it'll just sit there and tug on the tape. When it gets to the end, it won't stop. But if you are playing the tape and it gets to the end, it will stop. So it's got like sort of a semi-auto stop. I will be using ye old test tape, and we will be testing a recording of the radio, which I've got going on right here. So let's go ahead and hit record. And there it goes. Okay, so you could hear the fidelity of the radio. I mean, the radio is the loudest, highest fidelity thing on here. So let's keep the volume the same and just hear what the recording off the radio sounds like.
If you can't find it, be sure to ask for it.
How about this? Introducing an all-new way to save with Xfinity. It's called the 3-for-1 bundle. Hey, it's Steve Burrell. You can get unlimited internet, streaming, and...
Not bad. Actually, I made a pretty decent recording. You can tell it's one generation removed from the original. It's got a little bit of muddiness, but this is a basic recording head. This is a Type 1 tape. And it's the very first time it's ever recorded. So there's a lot of things going against it there. But I do think that recording feature is good. With that, you can make tapes off of the aux input. That gives you some ideas. You could make tapes off of CD, off of the radio, which is cool. So yeah, I think that this definitely has a place. Is it the very best little boombox I've ever seen? Probably not, but it's definitely not the worst. What are my final thoughts? I think the speaker is overpriced. It's still cool as a little radio. Needs Bluetooth. It's acceptable. It's not terrible. It's just, it's okay. The boombox, I was a little bit more pleased with. There's, quite a bit of functionality, but it's missing Bluetooth. Build quality overall was okay. I think for a senior, for a kid, this would be an acceptable boombox. The value is better at $40 for all of those capabilities. You get CD, you get radio, you get aux, you get cassette that's actually stereo. All right, my friends, and that's going to do it for today. Thank you so very much for being there. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much for being there. Whew. So if you want these products, if you're interested in taking your audio outdoors, on the road, on your adventures, click on the links in the description below. And more important than that, I want to just say thank you very much for being there. 5 years and counting. We're getting close to 1,000 shows right about now. I got to check and see. I hope we didn't pass it. 1,000 shows. We're closing in on 25,000 subscribers. By the way, doing giveaways again coming up once we hit 25,000. There's just so much going on at Record-ology. Have you checked out our Vinyl Nation program yet? Also, link down below. It's a membership program, doesn't cost very much. It's like the cost of a Starbucks per month, and you get extra show every week, and other exclusive benefits as well. My friends, that's going to do it for today. Back to work tomorrow. It's been a great weekend. As I film this, there's still a few hours left. We still got daylight, still an opportunity to do a couple of fun things. And I hope you had a great weekend as well. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you next time.